Hello there everybody, it is me FreeZerBunny and welcome to my Let's Play on Wildlife Park 2, okay guys? So I know that this Let's Play totally came out of nowhere, but trust me guys, I have spent so many hours playing this game, it is that addicting, okay? Anyway, Wildlife Park. I am not a stranger to the series. If you guys remember, last year I played Wildlife Park 3 and I'm kind of pulling off like a Benjamin Button kind of moment and going backwards and playing Wildlife Park 2, which is a game that was released in 2006, okay guys? So I really wanted to kind of share with you guys the way that I play this game. I got this thing about a week ago from Steam and it comes in a bundle together with about 8 expansion slash DLC packs and stuff like that. It is so worth it. Highly suggest you guys get it because it's so fun. Everybody has their own way of playing this game. There's a ton of Let's Plays already out on YouTube, but I thought that I wanted to kind of share to you guys the way I play my game because it's very different. And yeah, okay. Anyway, there are linear missions that you can take, which are more story based and also more tutorial based as well. But for this playthrough, we're gonna do a free play mode, and I am going to just pretty much create the perfect park. Like, this Let's Play is gonna be called the greatest park ever because we're gonna try to include as many stuff as we can. We're gonna choose the largest map available, which I believe is the Sahara, and this is also like the easiest map as well because because it doesn't have any rain and it doesn't have any snow, and that just makes it easier for the animals to survive. Of course, I am going to enable sandbox mode and just give us unlimited money because I don't have to worry about that. Immortality, because we all know that animals have like a fixed rate of life and immortality just makes them live forever. And all build points available, yes, sandbox mode once again. Anyway, let's go ahead and hop right into this. So yes, you guys, like I said, I have spent so many freaking hours, like it's kind of crazy. It's just so insane. Okay, this is such an addicting game. I don't know why. First thing that I always do in my playthroughs of this game for myself is that I flatten the whole thing, or like as much of it as possible, because I don't like to deal with uneven ground, if you guys get what I mean. It's just, yeah, I just don't want to have to deal with it. So yeah, usually I just flatten the whole thing, grab the brush, make it as large as possible, and yeah. It is probably gonna take me a little bit of time to adjust to this because I am recording in windowed mode for the first time. I play this game in full screen mode, so that's kind of how I'm used to play things, but yeah, right now I'm recording this in windowed mode because my video recorder, Camtasia, can't record in full screen mode for some strange reason, so it's gonna take a little bit of time for me to actually adjust. Anyway, okay, so yeah, we're gonna grab the brush and just flatten everything. Later on, we are gonna get to add some hills and stuff like that, but for now, I really just want to have like some flat terrain and things like that. Also, this is gonna be a really chill playthrough, and it's also just gonna be more of creative centered. I'm not gonna try to explain to you guys what the game's about because the game's like almost a decade old, so yeah, I don't think there's any more information I can share with you guys that's new, but you know, I guess the one thing that I can share to you guys through this playthrough is how I play the game, which is really fun. In case you guys are not familiar with the series, Wildlife Park is kind of a business slash management simulation that lets you simulate how it is to own a zoo or a wildlife park, depending on how you want to call it. It's very similar in concept to more popular series like Zoo Tycoon and things like that. So yeah, it's really fun. You guys know how much I love my simulation games, and this thing combines a lot of the things that I am obsessed with. It combines simulation management, business management, and also animals and plants as well, which I'm also in love with, in case you guys have not seen my other series on similar games like Harvest Moon and other things like that. Okay, so we have managed to flatten a lot of our landscape, and what we're gonna do now is actually put a wall, or try to create the perimeter wall that's gonna surround our area. Because if I actually zoom in like this, you guys, you can see that surrounding our area is completely desert. Like there's like nothing around us other than sand and maybe some poisonous snakes or scorpions and things like that. So I feel like it would be more realistic to actually have a fence. So usually every time I start off from this corner for some strange reason. I don't know why, I just really like to. And then we're gonna try to raise just one click. One thing that I also love about this game is that, you know, since you guys already know that I have played Wildlife Park 3, one feature that Wildlife Park 2 has that Wildlife Park 3 does not have is your ability to actually grow your own food. Like, you can grow your own produce and food to feed to the animals. And yeah, it kind of gives you like a more self-sufficient kind of perspective and stuff like that, which I love. I love gardening. I love growing our own food and, you know, being productive, I guess. I just really love that. You guys know that when I do The Sims 3 or just the Sims series in general, gardening is one of my favorite skills. And yeah, anyway. So what we're gonna do for this first couple of parts is focus on that aspect. Okay guys, so we're gonna build a strong foundation for us to actually have the greatest park ever. So yeah, okay, there we go. That's gonna be our perimeter fence type of wall thing. I am going to place like an actual fence on top of this later on. I know it does not look like much, but okay, I'm gonna show you guys what's gonna happen. Oh my gosh, these controls are so awkward. I'm just not used to it. Anyway, okay. I am going to grab this and flatten this one like that. And I'm gonna paint this thing into like a soil ground type of color so that it'll be easy to see. That's pretty much the rationale behind this. So yes, okay, there we go. Let's just paint the top part. Usually I do the top part in this soft ground, and then the bottom part I paint it a darker, what's that thing called again, like mud? Yeah, I paint it in the mud paint and stuff like that. Okay, and then I might as well show it to you guys. There we go. So yeah, this is literally how all my gameplay begins. I just make an area to produce all the things that are going to be needed to sustain a wildlife park, and that involves producing food for the animals as well as water and, you know, other necessities. So yeah, of course we're gonna go into the specifics as we build things, but yeah, okay, so this is the wall that we have for now, which does not look like much, but it does look like it's gonna be able to protect us from the ravages of nature. You know what, I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. So yeah, you guys, this is gonna be a really chill playthrough. I'm not gonna try to do things fast paced. The reason is I'm kind of doing this playthrough for myself. I know that I'm gonna be more motivated to make a nicer park, knowing that it's gonna be recorded as a let's play. So yeah, and yeah, I just really wanted to play this game. I know, I just wanted to play this game and just enjoy myself for once. You know, that's kind of how I do things on my channel anyway, just play things that I like and, you know, also share my gameplay with you guys, which feels awesome. And I'm pretty sure some of you guys might like this thing as well. So in case you guys are not sure whether you want to get this thing or not, I'm gonna help you out a little bit. Okay, grab that mud paint. So the whole entire park is gonna be covered in this material, I mean in this wall. And yeah, I don't know, I'm losing my energy now. See, every time I start my recordings, I just have so much energy, and then as we go on, as it takes longer to finish, I just lose it, which is something to expect. I don't want you guys to expect anything too crazy happening. I just really want to play this game, and I just decided to bring you guys with me. That's kind of like the idea behind this. Okay, so for this like past couple of minutes, we have been building this freaking wall. Okay, you know what, I think it's time to build something a little bit more substantial. And you know what, everything begins from one basic necessity, and that is water. And as you guys can see, we are the farthest place from Earth from any source of natural water, so we're gonna make our own reservoir. I'm gonna increase this brush, lower the terrain quite a bit. Let's see here, and this is gonna look really cool. I have not seen anyone build like a similar style reservoir for themselves. And by the way, this type of reservoir thing is not necessarily a requirement. You can just place water pumps and that will immediately like take care of your water requirement. But I personally like to create a reservoir because I really like to see, I just kind of like that role play element that our water actually comes from somewhere. And yeah, okay, so I'm gonna make a square one because I think that would be the most practical shape anyway. I'm just gonna basically start off with a really nice basic shape like so. That is huge, by the way. I don't know, we're gonna do something about that later on. We're probably gonna make it a little bit bigger towards here, and then yep, that looks just about right. And then it's pretty much just a matter of creating a perfect square, because hashtag I'm obsessive compulsive, you guys. But given that the game has been made in 2006, I believe, you guys can see that the graphics are not the best and their 3D simulation is not really 3D. It's more of like, I don't know, it's 3D, but I don't know how to explain it. It's a very archaic type of 3D. You guys can see that even though it's trying to look natural, it's really not. You can see like where the different polygons click and stuff. Oh my gosh, I'm getting too technical on this. Anyway, so that is going to be the base shape of our reservoir, and we get to fill this thing up with water later on. So that's that. Just to give you guys a little bit of a heads up, we're probably not going to be seeing any exotic animals until later on in the Let's Play. So that's that. We're gonna start off by actually focusing on plants first. Interestingly enough, we need to produce things to be sufficient, I guess, with the needs that our animals require to survive. And also we are going to just pretty much place farm animals first, and then we're gonna place these African animals and stuff like that, and eventually we're gonna go to the more exotic animals. I did mention to you guys earlier that I have all the expansion packs and DLCs of this game, and yes, I have Dino World, which has dinosaurs, and yes, I have Marine Parks, which has all the marine aquatic life and stuff. So eventually we are going to put them in this park as well, because as I told you guys, it's gonna be the most amazing, it's gonna be the greatest park ever. So that's that. Okay, let's just have this like an equal distance. I know I'm getting like so obsessive compulsive over this, but I mean, seriously, you guys, I'm pretty sure a lot of you are probably used to it. And you know what's surprising? I did not expect my Wildlife 3 Let's Play, which I did last year, a little bit over a year ago. I did not expect it to be that popular, but a lot of you guys actually really like that series. I like the first couple of episodes of that like got a couple thousand views, which is really surprising for me, considering these games are not new in the market. And okay, that looks really flat and square, which is perfect. I am going to grab a water tank because I want to see like the scale of it. Okay, there we go. That's kind of fine. Okay, that actually looks really nice. I think this reservoir thing turned out a little bit bigger than I was expecting. I'm gonna make it slightly smaller, and I'm gonna make this brush bigger. Let's make it like maybe that big, I guess. And okay, one really cool thing about this reservoir is it's gonna have 2 levels, which is gonna kind of create a waterfall type of thing for you guys. You guys will see in just a second. Okay, now I'll make the 2nd level for the reservoir. If you guys have not yet seen any gameplay of this game, you guys are probably like, what the freaking heck is he doing? But yeah, don't worry, I know exactly what I'm doing. I've done this a bunch of times before already, so that's that. And then I'm just gonna place them over here like so. And then this is going to be a production area. We can place some grain over here, I believe, because rice requires to be planted on water and stuff like that. And it's a very elaborate game. It's even more elaborate than Wildlife Park 3, which I kind of get because the reviews for this are actually better than the reviews for Wildlife Park 3, which there's like a 5-year gap between the release of these 2 games. Wildlife Park 2 was released in 2006, and Wildlife Park 3, I believe, was released in 2011, which is, you would expect that amount of time, or like you would expect that in that amount of time they would, you know, get their crap together, because they had like 5 years to develop an even better game than this one. But you know what? Just because a game is a sequel doesn't mean that it's always better. Oh my gosh, that totally applies to the Sims series. Sims 4, I'm talking about you. But anyway, so yeah, let's just make sure that these kind of flow nicely. I kind of wanted to have like a rectangle and stuff, so okay, that kind of looks really nice. I'm just really fussy about things. Okay, there we go. But yeah, pretty much the reservoir is a really tricky thing to build. It looks like a very basic, straightforward structure, but it's really not. It takes a lot of, you know, it takes a lot of like calculations, like really, because I'll show you guys in just a second. Okay, that looks really nice. Yeah, okay, that looks okay. So the next thing that we're gonna do is actually paint this, because this is gonna be completely submerged later on, and we might not be able to see underwater that clearly. So I just want to go ahead and actually paint this thing before placing in the water pumps. There we go, and I'm also gonna paint this over here. Back then I would paint this in gravel because I felt like, you know, a concrete kind of water reservoir would be nice, but I'm like, you know what, whatever, it's totally not even important. So we're painting it with mud because that's the more realistic thing. You know, there's always like mulch that develops underwater. There we go. And we are going to begin placing in our water pumps. Now I kind of want to make this thing bigger. Okay, you know what? I'm going to show you guys how the water pumps look, and I'm going to make this bigger. Because I don't want you guys to get bored and leave this Let's Play. I don't know. There we go. I'm gonna place just 2 really small ones. Like so, nice and equidistant from each other, because honestly, the water simulates really well in this game. It might not be the most realistic simulation, but it simulates really well. So there you go. As you guys can see, we have our nice little waterfall type of thing. Okay, you know what? I'm actually really happy with the size of this reservoir. So I'm gonna really quickly delete these. I know, I'm gonna delete these really quickly, and I am going to make some rice patties. Okay, let's see here. Harvest worker. Okay, I'm gonna make some rice patties really quickly because I actually want to see what I'm doing, and that's not going to be easy when everything is underwater. So I don't know, this is just like an optional type of thing anyway. You can literally just plop the rice and they will grow and stuff as long as they're submerged in water. But yeah, anyway, rice is a type of grain, and grain is one of the types of food that your animals require to survive. There are actually many types of food. We have nectar, which are needed by butterflies only, I think. And then we have, so basically the type of foods are grain, nectar. We have fruits, vegetables, and forage. And then we also have some other things like eucalyptus and bamboo, which are specific to types of animals. But basically, the things that I mentioned are kind of the general things that you need to grow. Which, by the way, you don't exactly have to grow them yourself. There's an option to place a building. I am probably not making any sense. You know what, you guys? I'm going to talk about this as we go on. But because I have really, really bad pacing. Because, yeah. Anyway, I'm painting this like that. You know what? I should have made that grass instead. Okay. Anyway, I am going to make... How many rice patties should I make? Usually I just go for 2. Maybe I can fit 3 in. Yeah, I think 3 would be a good number. Does that look like it's about the same size? I think it does. And of course, it's gonna need to have some water, so... Okay, so yep. Let's just put some holes in this thing. Like so. And this is totally completely unrealistic, because if you put like a water pump, I'll show you guys in just a second. I keep talking up ahead of myself, and that's pretty much because I know what I'm doing. You know, I have played this game for so many hours already, and I think I've done this thing maybe once or twice already. So, you know, I have a park that I built very, very similar to this one. You know what, speaking of that, I'm gonna save my game really quickly. Takes just a second to save. This is gonna be called the Sanctuary Park number 1. Cause yeah, there's a lot of debate actually out there about animals for entertainment, and that's kind of why this is called a sanctuary more than a zoo, because I really don't know my stand on that. You know, at the end of the day, it's about how they treat the animals and stuff like that. I don't want to go too preachy anyway over this, because it's a game. Like, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna place water pumps. Some actual water towers. And the reason why I am outlining this with some actual ground is because I want it to snap to the imaginary grid. There's no realistic grid in this game, which is kind of lame, especially like for people who are literally obsessive and compulsive about these things, such as myself. Because I want to place things on grids, just why not, okay? So instead, we are going to use the terrain, because the terrain actually does snap to some sort of a grid type of thing. So yeah, I use the terrain as guidelines, because they do all the time snap to the imaginary grid. So that's that. Anyway, this thing, I kind of want to center it a little bit more. Okay, let's put this thing over... Yeah, let's put it near, there we go. Precision action, you guys, like, whoa. Anyway, and then, okay, so I think it's time to place our water pumps. The reason why I placed these water towers first is that you guys can see that they have like a straight edge over here, that these like pump things have like a straight side to them. I always use these as kind of a ruler to rotate because these things are not straight. They always come in an angle. So I always use these as like references to kind of look at things and make them straight. Okay, that kind of looks nice. There we go. Is that even straight? I don't think so. There we go. That's a straight. It's probably gonna be. So this one I am going to place over here, and then this one over there. Didn't place it. I think this one needs to be like over here instead. I'm not sure. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and then 2. There we go. Yep, I placed that one there, and then sell this one. So yeah, trying to have like an equidistant space from these two is okay. We're not producing that much water, surprisingly. Okay, hashtag problematic. Okay, you know what? We need one more water pump, and we're gonna have to like measure it again. Cause it's just not straight. I wish there was a grid, I really do. But I mean, seriously though, okay. So we're gonna place 3 of these. I'm gonna place them 1 here, 1 there, and then 1 on the center. There's no center. There's no There's like, yep, there's no middle one. Oh no. Okay, you know what? I think we're gonna relocate things slightly over here instead. Is that gonna work, or is that like too much water? I feel like it might be too much water. Or no, maybe it's just enough. You know what? I feel like it's just enough because it's just covering the rice fields and stuff like that. Okay, cool beans. So the next thing that we're gonna place are water pumps over here on the actual reservoir itself. You guys can see that that waterfall thing is so beautiful. It's really beautiful. I'm like, just yes, hell yeah. And this thing does not even count for any production at all. It's just, you know, it's just cosmetic, and I really like that. Hashtag sandbox game. So I'm gonna place 4 of these on each corner, like so. There we go. And then another one, if I can see it, there we go, like so. And like I said, the water simulation in this game is quite interesting because, as you guys can see, since there is more water over here coming from the water pumps that we have upstairs or upstream, the water kind of like is deeper on this area as opposed to this area, if you guys can see my mouse cursor. But that literally like doesn't happen in real life. But anyway, that's a nice little water pump, right? Cool beans. Okay, next thing that I'm gonna do is actually paint this whole thing yeah, with some grass, because now that we have some water actually that's being produced, naturally grass would grow around the reservoir. So that's what's gonna happen. Literally, you guys, I'm gonna be so tedious with this playthrough. Like, I'm gonna pay attention to every detail and correct things that I'm just not okay with. Oh my gosh, there we go. There's an undo option though, which is great. It's not that common, and especially like in city simulations and things like that, and sandbox games and stuff, the undo type of option usually does not exist. But I'm happy that we have an undo option for this one though. I don't remember if Wildlife Park 3 had an undo option. I just don't. And by the way, if we place like a utility, we can actually turn it off if it's not needed. I'll show you guys. And it does have an effect. If we turn things off by pressing this like lock, it will actually turn off, and something might actually happen to our, you know, upper reservoir. Or maybe not, I don't know. It doesn't look like anything's happening though. That's interesting. Anyway, I'm gonna paint this whole thing with some green, and then we can move on to actually placing in some personnel. Oh my gosh. Okay, I totally forgot to pause my game. Oopsie. But at least you guys got to see the water simulation, which is so pretty, especially like in a waterfall type of thing. It's so pretty. I'm so happy with how the reservoir looks. Okay, you guys see you guys, we're losing water. Like, we're not pumping as much water as we used to. So our reservoirs are losing some water. Okay, so we need to turn these things back on to reach the water level that we need. These ones, we're gonna plant some rice over here. And then, you know what? I might as well begin placing the personnel, as I've said. Once again, I'm gonna totally make a guide with these terrain paints, and then I'm gonna place some, let's see here. Okay, the first thing that I'm gonna place, or the first people that I'm gonna place, are harvest workers, and they play a really important role. Actually, most of these people play an important role, but for what we're doing for the first stage of this Let's Play, which is creating kind of like the production facilities and stuff, the harvest workers really play a super important role, because they actually are the ones who harvest the crops and all that stuff. So yeah, considering the fact that we're gonna have probably a lot of crops, they are gonna be kind of the backbone of our whole initial situation, making sure that that is straight and equidistant. I really, you know what? I think our life would be 10 times easier if this thing only had a grid, but I'm not gonna reminisce about something that we don't have. Okay. And then usually the harvest workers have a really busy workload. So even though 3 of them kind of seems excessive, I'm gonna add an additional 3 over here out at the back. And actually, you know, yeah. When we actually hit play later on, you guys will see that there are actual people who live in these kind of homes and stuff, which is super cute. Okay, I have to like figure out, you know what, let's go to settings really quickly. Settings, and do we have an option to turn on the edge scrolling, anti-aliasing, level of detail, lens effect, shadow? I don't think there's an option to turn on the edge scroll, because that's kind of tooltip, scroll speed, object. Yeah, there's no edge scrolling, or I probably just don't recognize it. Hashtag, I'm not a technical person, you guys. I'm just not. Okay, anyway, we're gonna place another batch of these ones to work on other crops on this side of the production. Oh my gosh, we're on play. Nope. Okay, so I'm gonna place them as neatly as I can, and that is just yeah. There you go. I'm so concentrated right now, it's kind of crazy. Because people just usually just plop these guys randomly. I'm like, you guys, can we please pay attention to the way you place these buildings? Because there we go. I feel like that would work. Yeah, that's not... Ugh, I hate it. You know what? I'm not gonna settle for that. It's not straight. I know you guys probably don't even notice that it's not straight, but I totally see it. I can smell it like from a mile away. And I'm also sitting really far from my desk because I had to make room for I had to make room for my microphone, funny enough, which is a huge thing. Okay, let's actually just plop that. I'm trying to have like as little space, because being space efficient right now is totally gonna pay off later on, because as you guys can see, we have a very limited space in this part. Even though this is already the largest map that is available, we have a very limited amount of space. And if you guys think of like what type of animals we're gonna include like a marine water park. We're gonna have like an Arctic polar type of park, and we're gonna have like a dino park, which is insane, which I'm just like, hell yeah, I love Jurassic Park, I love Jurassic World. I'm just like, hell yeah. Anyway, okay, that's probably the straightest that it's gonna be. Okay, I'm gonna close these first so we can actually play the game and turn on the simulation. Okay, and then these guys are gonna disappear. There we go. And then I'm gonna paint the terrain to kind of demarcate. Ooh, that's a big word. Yeah, to kind of just pretty much establish the area of these structures, like so. There we go, and then that way, and then there we go, making sure that everything underneath is properly painted and all that good stuff. Okay, cool beans. So there we go, we have our first bunch of production facilities. I'm gonna go ahead and actually plop in some rice plants, and this is what I've been talking about to you guys. Rice plants actually have a set amount of requirements, which is really interesting. This is how in-depth things go. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually grab a rice grain feed plant, and then if you click on this question mark, it's gonna tell you what type of ground you should plant this in and the temperature that it's gonna thrive in. So it's that detailed. Whoa. Okay, I'm gonna place okay, let's place 6 of those per box. I feel like would be enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm not talking anymore. I feel like that's not a lot. What do you guys think? Yeah, let's produce more. I'm trying to have hindsight, I guess. You know, I'm trying to expect a lot of things to happen. Okay, let's put 6. Let's put 8 per box, I guess. Would be a good amount. There we go, like so. And I'm not gonna go all perfect on this because yeah, there's no grid, which is kind of annoying, but I mean, who does this thing perfectly in real life anyway? Gosh, I wish I had the edge scrolling on, because I have to unclick an item in order to scroll further in the page or in the window, which is kind of annoying. Okay, there we go. That actually kind of looks decent. And I think that's gonna produce a lot of grain. Okay, so, do we have time? You know what, let's make time to do some more things. I'm gonna take a little bit of a break here, you guys, because I really need to drink some water, and I'm gonna be right back in just a second. Alrighty guys, so far so good. I'm back. I feel like we might be able to do a little bit more with our time. I'm kind of pushing for maybe 40 to an hour. 40 minutes to an hour long part is kind of what I'm looking for the series. Anyway, next thing that we're gonna place are some production buildings. Now, anyway, the things that we're trying to produce, such as grain and fruits, vegetables, and forage, you can actually easily produce them just by placing these buildings over here, and they'll automatically produce them for you. But I really like to kind of go more in depth and plant all these things individually. So yeah, anyway, just as kind of like a decorative element, I am going to place those you know, those facilities. Starting off with the fishing one, I'm gonna mark its location. I feel like that's just about the right size. I feel like, yeah, it's probably like around that size. And actually the fish farm, we totally need this because there's no way that I'm aware of to produce fish. Okay, so yeah, we actually need some of these. I guess we don't need the greenhouse one, but I am gonna place it eventually as just a decorative item and stuff. Okay, anyway, Let's grab the fish farm and okay, oh my gosh, I need to align this to something. Oh my gosh, I wish I had like the edge scrolling turned on. Okay, you know what? I'm not gonna go. I'm gonna try to overcome my obsessive compulsiveness. There we go. I wish we can place things and then rotate them or something. Okay, actually, you know what? Delete that. And then we can actually... Okay. We're gonna position this thing over here. Try to see how straight it is and stuff. I feel like that is probably straight. That is so not straight. Okay. Maybe like that. Yep, that's probably the best that we can do. I wish this interface thing was not blocking my way. Yeah, let's actually just go for this. Okay, I'm totally good with how it looks like it's gonna be placed. Okay. Boom. Lovely jubbly. Okay, can we delete that? Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go for that. Totally fine. Delete this one. I hope that it's gonna be... There we go. Yeah, I like how it's properly, like, you know, outlined by the terrain thing. It fits snugly into that square. Okay, that's the fish farm. We also have the grain thing. Over here, these three guys are gonna focus on the grain. And what's really awesome about these features is that it has an option to actually, you guys can see these highlighted areas right now. That is the area where the worker is going to focus on, or that's the area that he is going to work on. So basically, there's an option to move the area. And I'm gonna move it over here so he only has to focus on producing grains. There we go. And I think that will hopefully increase the productivity. So these three guys are only gonna think about grain production, like so, and then they are also gonna do, there we go, like that as well. Of course, it can overlap, but you know, basically I think whichever area is nearer is where the guys are gonna work on. And this is a lot of grain. It might not look like a lot to you guys, but I think this is able to produce maybe like, I don't know, 100 kilograms per month. That's no, maybe 30 kilograms per month, which I don't know. I actually don't know. Anyway, grain is one of those foods where we really don't need that much of it. I think there's not that many animals that actually eat grain other than chickens and poultry and stuff like that. The one produce that we're gonna have to do a lot and produce a lot is the forage one, which forage is basically green things like leaves and things like that. And basically that is something that almost all animals need. So that's that. Anyway, we also need to produce some water as well. So if you click on these water towers, you can click on open food production menu, and you can only produce one type of food, which is water to drink. And water to drink is water that's used to drink for the animals. And the animals can actually drink just water fresh out of the pump, or they can drink water if you actually put it in water, like feeding things, water troughs and stuff. And that's what we need to produce here. Just click on the item and press play. And I'm actually gonna reduce our production, because even though we really don't have to think about our financial aspects and stuff, I still want to kind of be practical with our production. So I'm gonna only produce the water that we need, which is probably it's probably even less than 50 kilograms per month. Oh my gosh, I know this is going so technical, but that's the reason why I love this game so much. It's so nice and technical, you know. It's basically more than a game, okay? And I'm gonna put some pathways, so I think they look nice. Connecting all the different buildings and stuff, because actually, you know what, if you zoom in, there is actual grass, you guys can see. That's why I kind of like to put pathways, because oh my gosh, how am I gonna move? Do I press WAC? Yeah, okay. I guess I have to use my keyboard. Okay, anyway, so yeah, that's kind of why I like to use pathways. Oh yeah, I can use my keyboard, yay! Okay, hashtag discovery. I am such a dweeb, like seriously. Okay, I should have known. Anyway, let's just paint this area over here. Kind of make a pathway that leads from the water pumps to the fishing pond. What's this thing called again? Fish farm. There we go. Okay, cool beans, cool beans. So, let's see here. What else do we need to do? We really don't need to do anything. Okay, I'm also, you know what, before I wrap this part up, I'm gonna show you guys what the fences are gonna look like. I'm gonna use, I think, this wire mesh one. I always kind of like to role play things when I do these types of games and things. I kind of like to, especially if it's like a farming game. Why am I like rotating? It's weird. Okay, there we go. But yeah, anyway, every time I make farming simulations, I'm like, what am I gonna do to make this thing productive during a zombie apocalypse? And to be completely honest with you guys, that's the only reason why we decided to put a fence, to protect us from possible zombies and wild animals, which there's kind of a lot of those anyway in Africa. So see, anyway, this is the fence. I'm not gonna put them now because they're gonna actually need to be maintained. The fences wear off and stuff like that, so they need to be maintained and stuff. And I want to have like the same level of earth base mound and stuff all throughout the park before placing the fence, just because I want things to be uniform, because I'm OCD like that. Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and actually wrap this part up right here, okay guys? So that is going to be it for part 1 of Let's Play Waterfall Park 2, the greatest park ever. Please leave a like, favorite, and subscribe if you guys want to see more. I'm definitely gonna be making more, because hashtag I'm playing this for myself. But thank you guys so much for watching. You all have an awesome day, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.